Greetings, loyalists and heretics. Welcome to Iron and Ceramite, where we once again enter the warp without an astropath.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Iron and Ceramite podcast. My name is John, and as always, I'm joined by these fine gentlemen. Say hello, Glenn.
Hello.
Dave.
Hello.
Shane.
Hi there.
And Tom.
Hello.
So before we get into this episode, we just wanted to take a moment and say thank you to everyone who has been subscribing to us on YouTube or wherever else you're getting your podcast, like Spotify. If you're just joining us for the first time, let me take this chance to tell you about some other things that are going on at Iron and Ceramite. We, of course, have our podcast, as you know, that's why you're here. If this is your first one, then welcome. We also have our Black Library review series we call Librarius Omnis. Shane, do you want to give us a rundown about what that's all about?
Yeah, no, of course, happy to. So most of the time it's John and myself, and we decided to undertake the very easy task of going through all of the Black Library. Why not? And in particular, we started the easiest place, and that's with the Horus Heresy. So right now we're working our way through that massive tome of books, but keep watching, because hopefully there's going to be a few more videos as well where all of us join in, and we'll do a few reviews of books like 15 hours. But right now I think we're up to about book 6, but by all means join in there. As I said, it's available on YouTube, also available on Spotify and anywhere else that you normally get your podcasts. So as I said, it's a bit of a labor of love at the moment, and definitely an undertaking.
We also have a series we call Hobby Bashing, and there's some videos where we are sharing hobby-related tips or tricks, and eventually maybe even some tutorials. So far, Tommy's the one providing us with those videos. We've got a few on the channel, so go and check them out. And our newest series that we've started called Archaeotech Assimilation, where we are doing unboxings and reviews of all sorts of Warhammer and hobby related things, basically anything we're finding cool and want to talk about a bit extra. Those two shows are on YouTube only, because obviously they're visual shows, so check them out, let us know what you think, not only about the videos but the actual content themselves. We are, of course, on all social media as Iron and Ceramite. Give us a Google, check us out on Facebook, join our page where we share the links every week to videos as they come out, and it's a good place for you to put in the comments what you think or your opinions on anything we're covering in that particular episode or video. We also encourage you to share any cool lore or your own models with us, so we've got something to talk about, or if you want to ask a question, someone in the community might be able to help you out, because we're all at different stages of the hobby, we're all trying to learn, and we just want to help each other along. And obviously we don't want any of the usual sarcastic or unhelpful "why don't you Google it" answers, because we're on Facebook asking the questions for a reason. And then obviously check us out on Instagram, where we upload posts to the Iron and Ceramite page after every video, usually with photos of anything relevant to the episode. And if you want to check us out individually, you can check out our individual Instagram pages. I am I don't know what I said there, paces. I'm Falconer Eddie. You can find Glenn at
Neil Bean.
Shane is
Adeptus Mansfieldicus.
Dave is
The Namakash Crusade.
and Tommy.
Sanguine Reaper 85.
Very nice. So I'm torn of where to start now before we go into our hobby roundup. Do we have a go at Glenn for making us spend a lot of money, or do we laugh at, or do we praise Tom for being elevated to the gods?
Have a go at Glenn, definitely.
Have a go at Glenn.
Have a go at Glenn. Yeah.
Glenn, you've made me spend a lot of money, and I'm not happy with you.
Have they taken the money yet?
No, not yet.
No,
it's coming.
on the email they did say that they was gonna freeze everything until it's sort of ready to go. By the sounds of it, yeah.
But just to clarify, all 5 of us have Glenn shared a link to our chat, and all 5 of us have now signed up to the Imperium magazine subscription, which is
Who was it with? Again, can you remember the company?
Hachette.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Glenn's just sitting there quietly, not accepting anything, any responsibility.
I just brought it to your attention because like you guys are mostly at the beginner sort of stage. So from getting the Conquest set previously, I thought it'd be really, really good for you guys. I did kind of expect maybe one or two of you to maybe split it between you, not everyone just sort of jump in and go, yeah, screw it, we all need 2 new armies each. But yeah, from getting the Conquest magazines the last time, it's really, really good stuff. You get a lot of models for your money, and all your extras like your pints and your random tools and stuff, definitely worth the money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on board. I'm happy with it. I'm particularly into the terrain. I think I'm looking for the terrain pieces when they come out, because that's the bit that caught my eye. I think I was a bit just disappointed that we're gonna have to wait a bit for it. Do we reckon anyone got their subscription early?
No.
Or do we reckon it's all in the summer?
I think looking at that email, they weren't expecting such demand for it by the sounds of it, and I think they've had a bit of a shock. Whereas I think originally it said once you're processed, you'll be receiving it within 28 days. Yeah. I don't think they were expecting this demand, so we're all going to be waiting. But if anyone gets it early, I'd be interested to know.
Well, they sort of should have expected it, because I believe the Conquest magazine was their biggest ever seller from that company, so it makes sense that it was going to be huge again.
You got to think. Everyone being locked down as well. Something for everyone who hasn't been spending as much money as normal has probably saved it up a bit. Something keen to get back into reality.
I mean, Games Workshop's a big license for that company, because normally they're the guys that print like I don't know if you remember when you were kids and you used to get like the dinosaur magazines or the Bugs ones where you'd build up like a dinosaur skeleton.
I remember them.
All of that sort of stuff. It's the same sort of company, you know. That's so having a GW license is I would imagine is quite big for them. So yeah, I'm surprised that they weren't expecting the level of people coming in for it. But
to be honest, maybe they sort of knew they weren't ready for it, but because everyone's in lockdown at the moment and we're due to come out of it, they thought, oh, we'll just put it out there now, because everyone's in lockdown. They're all desperate for something to do. Everyone's just going to buy it, and then we'll say, oh, sorry, we're gonna have to delay it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Didn't they have this with Indominus when that came out? Because they released so many, and then they had to put it to made to order.
There was loads of that stuff with Indominus, because apparently there were loads of rumours of suppliers who put orders in for Indomitus and then not getting the GW bringing the orders back because they could sell it all themselves, because they didn't realise how much demand they'd get. And then obviously, then it was made to order. But there was a whole thing about it on online, all these conspiracy theories as to what GW was doing, because the set sold out so quickly.
Because a lot of people was just trying to buy it to sell it off sort of individually anyway, weren't they? Like traders on eBay and stuff like that. So I don't know if there was a limit to how many you could buy, or was there, or how many you could pre-order rather.
No, absolutely. Although I think the kits they came out with afterwards, what were they? I can't remember the name of it. Like the ones that had the Necron and the Space Marines, but you had
the smaller sets.
Yeah, they're like Elite and all that sort of thing. Starter Elite or whatever it was.
Yeah, and I think the biggest one of those, where you got you got a load of terrain in it. And I actually, I didn't get it, but I probably would. Going back, I might have gotten that one instead of Indomitus had I known it was coming.
But I imagine that with this magazine, there's going to be a lot of that as well, because not everyone's going to want to collect Ultramarines, and obviously this is aimed at that because you're getting a Gilliman and the other named characters and stuff. So if you're not collecting it, that's the one. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of these going up. And if you, I'm not too sure, but a lot of people are saying if you do buy this, although it's very expensive, you're going to be making a saving in the long run, because it's obviously a bit discounted because of the way they're doing it. So some people are going to try and sell off their Gurliman models probably for more than what they're worth. It's inevitable with this sort of thing. People just try and sell it because it's cool.
Yeah.
eBay's obviously the demon's nest where everyone just tries to make a profit off things that aren't necessarily that valuable. It's disappointing because I was really looking forward to cracking on with this. I've got all this space now.
We had this conversation actually in the last Libraris Omnis review, but what second army were you actually going to go for, John?
Well, I'm not really sure even now. So at the time I had no answer for you, but now clearly it's Necrons and Space Marines, and probably I'm leaning heavily towards just doing Ultramarines because, like I said, we're getting some name models for that faction. I wouldn't just want to paint them and just leave them on the shelf, so I might as well use them. And then, what was it? Someone said the other day, obviously I'll do my Death Guard army. I'll have 2 Primarchs to fight against each other. So yeah, I think I'm leaning towards Ultramarines, and then obviously the Necron army. If it wasn't for the magazine, I'd probably go Orcs. Okay. Because they're cool. I quite fancy, quite like the look of them. Tom's 2 models that he's done have piqued my interest.
One. I mean,
you did the little Joker boy, didn't you?
Yeah, they're sort of. I think they're like Gulka Mulka, them ones though. I think they're really quite old school. I had them from when I was young. I never painted them, and so they're not like the modern ones. The modern ones are a lot bigger. So I've only done the Death Dread of that massive. Actually, I've got the box here just in case it came up. That's the one I was talking about.
You knew it was coming up.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Anyway, so now that you've entered the conversation, Tom, tell us about your elevation to the gods.
Oh, fuck's sake! Do you know what? It's embarrassing, right? Because I painted this. You won't be able to see it probably, but painted this model, Captain Tycho. Obviously, I spoke about him on the last podcast, so I thought I'd better buy him, paint him up because he is an intriguing character. Hasn't got a lot of lore behind him, but what is there is like really quite fascinating to me. So anyway, I painted him up. I painted him up as the 3rd company captain before he slipped into the Black Rage. And obviously, I'd done a decent job just because I spent quite a lot of time on him. Normally, I just go like that. See, start there. They go that do. But I spent a bit of time on him, and the people, was it Warhammer community people? I think it's called on Instagram, who do the Warhammer TV thing on Twitch. Just messaged me and said that they'd like to use it in their Twitch stream tomorrow. I think it's 6 p.m. or something. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, but then I looked at their Twitch stream and that because I've never been on Twitch before. And every single model I saw was better than mine. So now I'm just thinking, what the fuck are they going to say about it? And maybe they're using it so they can say, here's what not to do. But we'll see.
Is that the models are better than yours because you're looking at it through your own eyes, or
possibly? I mean, no. I'm happy with it for me. I think I've definitely progressed compared to what I normally do. Usually, I'm just trying to get them tabletop ready, really. But I like painting characters, obviously. Who doesn't? But looking at them, you can obviously see some of the people on there have worked for a long time on their models. I'm talking hours and hours, get the edge highlighting done, all that type of thing. But I think I like my model. I know it sounds like I'm blowing myself on this, but the reason I like it is because it's sort of a bit grim dark. That's my style. I don't think I'm good enough to edge highlight yet and all that and make it look perfectly clean. So I think going for the grim dark really does help me. And, and then that's my excuse anyway for why it looks shit. So
I thought it looked good. I particularly I thought, I don't know, where I think you're much better than me is I thought his face was really clear. Like the detail, like his head is really, really good. And I think for a lot of people, when you look at models, you're naturally drawn, or when you look at minis, you're naturally drawn to their face and their features. And I think I thought you did a really good job on that.
Yeah. The one good thing with this, because I've been using that skeleton bone, that army painter, for when I paint gold, and obviously that's naturally sort of like a creamy sort of a color. So going over it, you don't have to paint any flesh tone or anything. I can just put Gilliman flesh over that, and it's already set, set to look like a decent sort of face. And that's all I used. And I used a fiber tipped pen, the 0.05 nib to do the eyeballs instead of a paintbrush. Obviously, you still got to have a steady hand, but just to do the pupils, it works really well.
That's a good tip. Because that's like my wolf guard. They're all just like white zombies because I haven't got the balls to do their pupils with a paintbrush.
Yeah, like I say, it works really well. It's obviously you have to write with it quite a bit first to get it flowing, and then just tap it in, and it seems to do quite a good job. Every single one that I've done with pupils. I mean, obviously some of them are boss-eyed, but it all depends on how shaky your hands are, doesn't it? But this one just went straight into the middle, and I was like, "Yep, I'm happy with that."
Nice.
That's good.
What else have you been working on? Going into our usual sort of hobby roundup, Tom?
I've done quite a bit. I did my company ancient, which this guy here was kit bashed, which obviously I've put up on. Actually, I haven't put up on Instagram. Have I the finished model?
Not finished, I don't think. No,
not finished. Well, it's sort of finished now anyway, so I may put that up tomorrow. And I'm also working through my assault intercessors as well. So I'm going to be honest. I'm painting them to an okay standard, but I just really want to get them on a tabletop now with these guys. They're not characters. I can always revisit them when I'm bored and I haven't got much to paint to put in a few more details. So I'm going with these guys here. The only problem is I used Astrogranite on his base, and I thought it'd look really cool if I painted it over yellow and then put a little bit of shading on. It looks like melted cheese. It looks like a melted cheese pizza. I don't know if you could say that. But who knows? There might be a planet somewhere out there in the Imperium that's got that sort of a surface. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I've done them 3, and I've got a massive pile of shame, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little while. So I've got a lot to be getting on with. But yeah, just them 3 since we last spoke.
Have you read anything?
Nothing, mate. I was reading that guard book, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Acadian. I can't remember what it's called now. Acadian something or other. Anyway, yeah, I literally 60 pages in. Really good book, but I keep leaving it at work inside my high-vis jacket where I hide it so I can read when I'm not supposed to. So yeah, nothing apart from that, mate. To be honest. What about you guys? Are you still reading? You're still reading through the Heresy, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm about halfway through Descent of Angels. Because I've just had a week off, so I was planning on getting a lot of it read, but I just haven't read it much because I decided to commit to painting this week instead. I don't know about where you are, Shane.
I was listening through the first Heretic on Audible. And then for whatever reason, when I went in the car, like it synced up on my phone and reset it. So where I'd been listening to it in different bits, I'd completely forgotten where I'd got to. And because I'd listened over it such a long period of time, I've just decided to have a bit of a break and then I'll go back to it from scratch. But I've also got to reread Descent of Angels so that I'm aware of it for when we have our catch up, which I know is going to be a bit of a challenge because, we've talked about it before and we'll talk about it when we review it. It's a very different change of pace in comparison to the rest of the book.
Yeah. I was looking up the author, Mitchell Scanlon, to see what else he'd written because I wanted to see where he was going to pop up down the line. And I don't think he is because Warhammer-wise, he's only written 3 books. So
which ones were they off the top of your head? Do you know?
Yeah, I've got it in front of me. So here's a challenge. Obviously, so Descent of Angels, and then so obviously we've said this is a bit of a challenging book to read because it's very different and it's a bit of a lull in the fast pace that we're used to. He's
15 hours, didn't he? He did 15
hours.
I just remember.
There you go.
I just remembered. Yeah.
So he wrote 15
I just
hours,
remembered. You probably saw me actually looking around at my shelf. I'd have just looked at the name.
I was waiting for you to get it. Which is weird because we all really like that. I know we haven't done the Omnis yet, and we're all planning on eventually sitting down to do it. But we all really like 15 hours. Descent of Angels is not the best book, but I still enjoyed it. And then he's written a 3rd one called Call to Arms. I don't know what it's about.
I'll have to look that up.
Can't even click on it to get a Wikipedia description, so I can't tell you. But they're the only 3 books. So it was 15 Hours in 2005, Descent of Angels 2007, and Call to Arms in 2010. And he hasn't got any more books after that. So must be a reason he wasn't invited back to do any more heresy. No offense.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. I mean, because some of those writers, you never know what the process is or what they're told by GW. Apart from obviously, John, your window into that world, thanks to the Black Library Facebook group.
Yeah.
Where they invited, I can't remember the author's name.
William King.
Yeah. Apart from that, like, you don't really get to peek behind the curtain, do you?
No, not really.
Now you've called out Mitch. What's his name? Mitchell Scanlon. John, you watch.
Yeah.
You watch him be on your back tomorrow morning. Yeah.
I'll open the door for the
down
postman
with
and get
William
knocked
King.
out.
You're like, Edwards, come out here.
I'm going to get banned from reading these fucking books soon, aren't I?
It's going to be like a Facebook group of
The old,
all Black Library authors. I hate John Edwards.
Games Workshop against John.
That's it. It'll be,
Get it?
The Space Police. They'll come
Yeah,
after you.
Get him off the internet. Well, that's another thing you haven't mentioned. Obviously, you put it on the Facebook group, your short story that you've been working on.
Oh yeah, that's just for a bit of a laugh, really. It needs a lot more fleshing out. Problem is, I'm not smart enough. I haven't got them big words readily in my head, to switch it up a bit to make people think, oh, he knows what he's talking about. It's all pretty generic stuff, but it keeps me happy. It's something to do. It's something I've always wanted to do. If I can just get through to the maybe 300, 350 pages, and I can at least then say, I have written a book. It might not be good, but I have done it, sort of thing, from beginning to the end.
You can join the Black Library authors Facebook group and start slagging me off.
Exactly. I could just take Mitchell Scannon's position as the most useless author.
And you're not the only one writing short stories. David?
Yeah, I thought I'd have a go as well. So I don't think I've got as far, and I don't know it as much as Tom knows. So I think mine would be a much slower process. But yeah, I've quite enjoyed it. So you can just, obviously, with the Warhammer universe, you can sort of go in any direction you want. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
What direction have you gone in?
Oh yeah, here we go. We know.
Eventually, it will be a Slaneshi cult, obviously, but there will be some Black Templars in there as well. So,
but you've picked the right thing, though, Dave. You know a lot about war history, don't you? Sort of like First World, Second World War.
Yeah.
So if you're going to sort of write something about the Guard, then it's not really that much of a change from what they went through anyway. On just tweak a few things here and there, a few different enemies, and away you go. Yeah. I think you'll be pretty good at it, mate. What I've read so far, I enjoyed it, and I thought it's definitely something that could pick up some interest. Well, amongst us anyway. all five of us.
Yeah. What have you been painting, Dave?
I finished my Hellblasters finally. But if I'm honest, I haven't actually done huge amounts of painting. The Hellblasters really took out. They just took forever.
I don't say that.
So I did enjoy them. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, they did take a very long time to complete. So I prepped my Helbrecht and Grimaldus models, and they're in Finecast, and I've decided that I absolutely fucking despise Finecast because I just think the molds are so poor. You have to clip off so much, and the mold lines on it are so obvious. I spent a good hour cleaning up Grimaldus and his servitors, and I want to be doing something a bit more interesting than just scraping bits of plastic off a model. So I was a bit frustrated by that, but yeah, so I haven't done too much. But obviously, I finished the Macarius Crusade. I don't know if I mentioned that last time, so I haven't been doing too much, but just ticking over.
So Dave, can I just ask, what is Finecast? Because I get confused. So you say that it was plastic that you were scraping off as opposed to like the Finecast metal figures?
Yeah, it was not, as far as I'm aware, Glenn probably knows more than I do, but the
like resin
Finecast
stuff.
is sort of, I guess so, yeah. Oh. It's not the same as the plastic on the models nowadays. It's just sort of a bit more, I don't know, a bit more solid plastic, I guess.
It's
Glenn,
a blend.
we need you.
Yeah, it's a blend of resin and plastic. So yeah, it's a bit softer. It's a bit easier to work with, but it does result in a lot more sort of mold lines, and it's quite heat sensitive. So if things get, or even a bit pressure sensitive, so things can bend out of shape quite easily as well. And for the love of God, use super glue to put it together. It is not plastic. It won't stay together with plastic glue.
Yeah.
Don't Forge World do a lot of their models in Finecast?
I think some of the character stuff now is similar to what Finecast used to be, but generally speaking, Forge World do resin.
Oh, okay.
It's just pure resin. But yeah, I think some of the character models might have been Finecast at one point. I don't know if they still are now, but I know Games Workshop did give the Finecast production over to Forge World because they knew how to work with resin, and Games Workshop weren't 100% sure on it whenever they did bring it out, so they let the experts handle it. That's why it did get a little bit better towards the end of its run, but now everything's plastic, so that's just the way they go with things.
I'm hoping eventually that they bring out Primaris Helbrex and Primaris Grimaldus as well, and some of the characters sort of get the new experience anyway. So I think that they'll be a lot nicer to build because, as you were saying before, Tom, the new models are so much easier to put together, in my opinion. Yeah. So,
yeah, I know a lot of people. Like I said, I think did we say it on the last podcast about people like to sort of super glue their own models into place and they're going through the whole building process and all that. Me personally, I just want to get them, push fitted together. As long as I've got my customization options, a different arm for this, different, whatever that I can put on there, then I don't want to be messing around super glue and everything. I know that obviously they got to sell super glue, so maybe that's why they're plastic glue, so maybe that's why they kept them going like that for so long. But the push fits are so much easier.
I can't imagine that glue's their big money maker though that they're pushing. It's just a byproduct, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got to sell this glue. What can we do? What about some plastic toys that could go with it?
Yeah.
And it's just spiraled horribly out of control.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, obviously they're loaded anyway now, and Games Workshop is probably not a massive deal for them. But what do you guys? Do you guys prefer to actually just go through the building process and glue your things together, or would you just prefer them to have the options there in front of you and just boom, there you go, done?
I would love for them to make magnetization an option. I think it would be a lot more expensive, but what I've seen on Instagram of what people can achieve and the sort of the savings that you would get from not having to buy multiple of the same model to have the sort of different guns. I would love for them to do something like that. I don't mind building. I do really enjoy the building side of things, and I do enjoy just sitting down and just building them and gluing them all together. But I would love for there to be like an easy to do magnetization, because I know I'd fuck it up. I know that they would just go, I'd just like drill all the way through it or something. And so I'd like to see that in the future. But again, that's going to be so stupidly expensive, and I don't even know if it's feasible either. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with Tom. Like, if everything had the option that you could change the weapons quite easily, because like, for instance, the Terminators, you come with so many different loadouts, different heads and arms and whatever for different weapons. But once they're glued on, like, that's it. Now I've got a little tub full of spare, as everyone does, spare bits and pieces. I'm not really big into kit bashing, but without selling these things like individually, someone who particularly wants that arm with that plasma pistol on it, it's just going to sit in a drawer forever, isn't it? So it's a bit of a waste. But if you could have the option to change them around whenever, then you could paint them up and always turn up with a different set of looking Marines. But so if there was a way that they could make them easily switchable, I'd be up for that.
See, I don't mind them being like, once you've built it. I'm not that fussed on that. It would be nice though if you got all the options in the box, which would be even more wastage, because if you like a 5-man Devastator box, you're going to have 4 las cannons, 4 heavy bolters, 4 missile launchers, 4 of everything. But then at least you have the option of what to put on it, because my Chaos Army, I'd love a squad of Havocs, all with the chain guns. You only get one of those in a box, so I'd have to buy 4 boxes to get one gun out of it. So it's a bit frustrating that way. Yeah, it'd be nice to have magnetization or something like that across an army as well. But if I at least got all the options in a box and I could go, that's what I'm going to glue on, it's glued on. And then people with more skill than me who can magnetize everything can then have every option of everything from one box. That's the dream, but never going to happen.
No.
I mean, I quite like the magnetization when it comes to vehicles and like maybe your Dreadnought or your Invictus or Invicta war suits and stuff like that. I see a lot of that on Instagram where you've got, I think there's more points in it as well. So, you know, changing a loadout for a tank or something like that is probably going to take a bit more than whether or not your Marine has a plasma pistol or bolt pistol. There's probably fewer points in it. I'm okay. To be honest, I'm okay with either. I think with the Indomitus set, because that was all push fit, I think that's harder to convert those Marines because you're limited in the poses. It's all like the shoulder pads don't come off, whereas when you get like various other Marines, you can interchange like shoulder pads, change out various bits and pieces. So I like that flexibility. I don't mind once it's built. You know, I'm happy enough to play around with the points one way or the other. And I think some of it also comes down to, you know, how strict you are with who you're playing. Because as I said, like my blood claws that I put together, they were the ones I had when I was a kid. And back then, you could just stick whatever you wanted on them, and that was the lead bodies, metal bodies, super glue the plastic on the arms, and they just all had 2 swords and bloody bolt guns stuck to their backpacks and all sorts of stuff, and it was just like ridiculous. So I tidied them up a bit, but you know, they're definitely not codex legal these days.
Yeah, I think when we all play anyway, I mean, as long as you sort of you've made your list up or whatever, and people can look at it and say, "Oh, that's what I'm using."
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't care what you know what you physically could say on them, as long as it was stated what you was actually using.
Yeah.
To be honest, you could tell me that anything you want. I don't know what any of the weapons are called, so I'll just agree with him. Like, yeah, that's fine. That sword has a 72-inch range. Yeah, I'll take that.
Anti-Nurgle weaponry.
Yeah, specifically roll a 1+ and it just wipes out your whole army. Oh, okay, that sounds feasible. I'm not going to read the codex.
Yeah, you don't read your own.
No, exactly. I will one day. I promise. I will read it.
Mate, it's too difficult. Honestly, I've tried to read both my Blood Angel supplement and the Space Marines one, along with the core rule book. I cannot get past 2 pages in it without literally wanting to go to sleep. It's that boring to read.
Just
and I don't understand it.
Just stick to all of the lore. That's the good stuff.
See, that's the thing. I haven't even read the lore because I cut all that out just because I really want to, you know, learn the game. But I was trying to play another little game the other day against myself, and there really is so much in there that my brain just wanted to melt out of my ears, and I just gave up again. It's for like the 3rd or 4th time I've tried it, and I just couldn't do it. I mean, we need you, Glenn. We need you there, just telling us what we're supposed to be doing, because it was horrifying. My brain was just in overdrive.
Glenn, you need to write a novel now, but yours can incorporate the rules, because you can just like Ragnar burst into the throne room and rolled a 6 and he slaughtered the foes, and then explain what weapons he used. He used his I don't know, fucking big axe that has a range of 5. Just somehow.
Are you mumbling? Are you rambling now?
More intelligently than what I've just done. Put it into a novel form.
Ragnar with an axe.
With a big axe.
The book to you.
Well,
that'd be quite nice, actually. That'd be quite cool.
Well, the rule book, yeah.
We'll all be asleep.
That is essentially the plan. I'm going to teach you fuckers how to actually play the game.
Easy. You just got to like once we're all in a room together, it'll be easy. You just layer it on one step at a time, right? Before you get
exactly.
Silly.
Yeah.
We'll do what you said last time, Glenn. If you just obviously take us through whatever steps you think is necessary, we'll start with that really basic one you said, where we just literally go through the motions first of all without any of the extra things, and we'll just go from there. I mean, what would your ideal starting point be? Just to use sort of like attacks and of guns and melee, and that's it, nothing more?
Well, it doesn't really matter too much about what you use. Like I used to teach with an HQ, a troops choice, and another thing. We didn't worry too much about points. We didn't worry too, like power levels, nothing like that wasn't in the game. But it was just to have a bit of variety of everything. Like whenever you guys came around to mine, I tried to give you all a little bit of different stuff. But yeah, it's just I'm more thinking of walking through the rulebook first before you get into army specific codex rules. So like all of your they've got instances of death and they get this one, they charge and they do that. No, just worry about this is how they move, this is how you shoot, this is how you do close combat, this is your psychic powers. Get that down, then you can add in your army specific stuff, and then you'll see the difference it actually makes to your army, how beneficial. Because like John's army is going to be relatively tough anyway, but then once you get your Nurgle specific rules, it makes them even harder. Tom with this combat stuff going to make a difference. Dave's stuff, but don't really know what not 100% sure what the Templars like sort of main strengths are in this edition. And the Necrons, they've always got some nasty army specific rules, like, so that makes a huge difference to the game. But once you get the basic rules down, then you can start worrying about that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the best way to go, mate. Because like I say, I when I was trying to go through it all, I was trying to do it all properly with the going through the Angels of Death and everything the Space Marines get, and then specific things for Blood Angels, and it just completely went over my head. I was like, yeah. You're right. We just go through the what is it? The movement phase through to the, what's the ending phase?
Morale phase, I think, is the last phase.
Yeah, and that'll be good enough.
Yeah.
So, and Glenn, you've had your paintbrushes out again
yes, for all of maybe an hour and a half, maybe. yeah, pretty much just in the video you, John, and then played around with a few colors to see what I could get to work with the purple orc skin, but just wasn't sitting well for me. So yeah,
the yellow was better. The yellow was better. The yellow was better.
To be honest, it looks that way in the picture, but when you look at it, there's just something off about it. It's just,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's the color theory principle. It's just looking at it, that color just doesn't work with that. And the missus agrees with me. In person, it's just not right.
Yeah.
At least I have one.
What's that? The missus. Oh, I've got a hand, so it's even better. And it doesn't tell me what to do or anything, or how to paint my models.
I was going to say, did she agree with you or tell you what was better?
No, I asked for her opinion.
Yeah.
No, he agreed with her while she was choking him out.
Yeah, to be fair, she would kick my ass, so just do what she tells me anyway.
Fair enough. So is it just the two orcs that you've sort of painted then?
Yes, but then because of this pod, thinking about what the next project is, I've always got my eye on what I want to do next. And so I've spent a bit of time doing army lists, thinking about what's up in my pile of shame, what I could get excited about with the new magazine, which has got delayed. So yeah, more planning this past couple of weeks than actually doing anything productive, and a few more short stories out of I want to say it's Legacies of Betrayal is the book I was reading the last time.
Yeah. Anything good out of it?
Because I haven't read anything from the Heresy in probably 2 or 3 years, maybe. I'm reading short stories and kind of going, what? I don't. And then it's sort of like little things are ringing a bell, but not an awful lot. So I think I just need to get through this just so I can put my mind at rest and go, I've read it. I could move on and then get stuck into the next actual story, which I think is Deathfire. I think Salamander's book, which apparently is very good.
Cool. Shane, and what have you been painting? I've seen some more popping up on your Instagram.
Yeah, I'm working my way through the Wolfguard. I've got just the Wolfguard pack leader now, and then that's the Wolfguard done and dusted, which then would mean that I'm 8 miniatures away from having my 1,000 points of Space Wolves done and dusted, which is my next. That's my next goal. As I'm working to those levels. Then once I've done that, I'll work on the next 500 points to get it up to 1,500. But yeah, nearly there with the Wolfguard. That's been a bit of a labour, but nearly done now. So I'm quite pleased with that. And then I was also thinking about which, like, if there's an army that I'd go for next, what would I look at? What would I do? Obviously, I've got some Necrons. I think I've got about 3,000 points of Space Wolves, maybe more if I got it all together. And then I was thinking, you know what? I'm sick to death of painting. I can't be dealing with painting all the time. I'm a bit like Glenn in that regard. Painting is definitely not my thing. And I found that the smallest army I could put together for 1,000 points was the Adeptus Custodes. 13 miniatures would get me to 1,000 points. That's it. Just 13 miniatures.
Without vehicles or anything, yeah.
So that's 2 troop units, 3 in each one. Your HQ, 1 unit of elites, and 1 unit of fast attack bikes.
Yeah.
And they're 3 per unit. So that's 13 units or 13 miniatures, and then you're done. 1,000 points. Jobs are good. And I was like, yeah, I could probably paint 13, and they're custodes as well, right? So you just spray them gold and you're done.
Yeah.
So that might happen at some point, but I've still got, probably about 2,000 points worth of wolves to get through yet on my in my pile of shame.
You could do it in much less. 2 nights done.
What's that? The Space Wolves?
No. I mean your army. You got 13 models. Yeah, no, just 2 nights done.
Yeah, that's it. As I said, it's easy. I could get that ready, no bother. But
well, there's a lot of painting in a night, though. To be fair, so
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
but no, I'll stick with the Space Wolves for now. As I said, I don't know of that magazine. Like I'd actually quite like the Necrons to add to the force I've already got, because then that would get to be quite a nice little army. I don't know what I'd do with the Marines, because it's like a lot of the Indomitus set. Like, I'm going to convert most of them, but the some of them are just not. I'm not going to be able to convert, so I don't know what.
Successor chapter, Shane. do your own perfect. I reckon you've got a color scheme in you.
Okay,
a unique color scheme.
I might have. We'll see. Maybe I hadn't thought about successor chapter. All right, yeah, something in that. But yeah, there's a few models still to go. But that's it. Okay. That's what I've been putting together, working on.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I've seen them. They're quite beastly. Them old school Terminators, though, aren't they?
They're pretty good. Oh, speaking of old school, I went on a eBay blitz the other day. It was after our last pod. I think it was the last pod, and got myself the original lead sculpt of Bjorn the Fell-Handed. So nice. The one from the 90s. I got it on eBay for like 20 quid. So someone's tried to paint it. So I'm gonna have to. I had a look through our group chat to get to the bit where you did the paint stripping, Tommy, before with the methylated spirit. So I've got some of that on just so I can strip it back. And then I'll.
What? Yeah. So the methylated, it's the purple stuff, isn't it? So I forget.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I'm going to try and strip that back, and then that will be another one of my projects as well to go in the Space Wolves. So the original Bjorn from the 90s.
That'd be awesome, man. Yeah.
He's so tiny now.
He is. He's only like half an inch bigger than the Terminators, the actual Wolfguard. He's really squat, and I was like,
I think. Sorry, go on, Jay.
No, please go ahead.
I think he'll be the same size as my Tycho. This is him compared to just an assault intercessor. Look at the difference in size.
Oh yeah.
just for an assault intercessor, just a regular, nothing really. So they are tiny. You're right, man.
But yeah, it's a proper squat little dreadnought, but looks pretty cool. So quite happy to have it. Just gonna clean it up and then hopefully put it together. But that will be that won't be until I get up to the 2,000 point level. So he's not. I don't think he's even in my 1,500 point list. So it's gonna be a while before I get to Bjorn.
What loadout is he, Shane? What has he got on him already?
He's got the. He comes with assault cannon, and then it's heavy flamer and fell claw or true claw. So it's like I said, assault cannon does what it does, heavy flamer does what it does, and then true claws like a power fist, like lightning claw type
Nice
thing, and then the usual sort of grenade launchers and that sort of stuff. There are different loadouts you can have for him now, but that was what it was originally. So that's what this one's come with, which is that's fine by me.
Cool. Yeah. So I've done, like I said, I've done quite a lot of painting this week, or since I've been off. So I managed to do both my box of cultists, and I did all 6 of my Plague Marine heroes as well. The cultists, I wanted to try and do them just contrast paints, and originally I was going to go with the snakebite leather for their cloaks, but I forget, like it comes out very dark, and when I've put it on, I haven't done it properly, so it was just really smeary and blotchy and looked horrible. So I ended up going over them with just normal paint. So I've got like 5 that have got sort of a green uniform and 5 that have got an orange uniform. Yeah, I need to maybe get some more and figure out what I'm doing. Maybe get some better colours as well, and try and get some more cultists and do them a bit of justice in the future, because they end up looking a bit scruffy in the end. But
they're only cultists.
Yeah, they're only cultists, so it's not like a massive issue. But I weren't overly pleased with the way they come out, so I'd like to maybe just get one more box and do them properly. But then and then I did my Plague Marine heroes. I'm actually quite happy with how they come out. They were fun to paint all the way through. Different. It's just nice to have different models. Like I was saying before, you buy a box of Plague Marines, you buy 2 or 3 boxes. They're all going to start looking the same eventually after you mix and match various pieces. There's only so much you can do. So yeah, at least I've got like another 6 unique models that I can just chuck into a squad here and there. But they were fine, nice to paint. The only issue I had with putting them together is, and we were talking about it on the live stream the other day, that once they're sprayed, there's literally no margin for pushing them together, because that whatever 0.5 millimeter of paint just makes the pegs too thick to go in the holes. So there's a lot of sanding them back down, or filing them back down, or cutting bits and pieces off. But other than that, I mean, the problem is the only issue is then once you glue it together, you're sitting there holding it in place for longer than you want to. But they've actually turned out all right now. So hopefully they don't fall over on the table and an arm comes off, because that'd be really irritating.
Just out of interest, John. Yeah, just out of interest, do you put the glue in the hole or on the peg?
Well, mostly I cut the peg off, so normally it goes in the hole. But if I've cut the peg completely off, I'll put it where it was.
Yeah, but if you're trying to just put the peg in beforehand, do you put it on the peg or in the hole?
Well, I used to put it in the hole, but then once you push the peg in, the glue comes out and wrecks your paint. So now I just wipe it onto the peg.
Yeah, because that softens the peg, so that stops the peg going in as easily though. So you really should be putting it in the hole. Just put a little bit less in the hole. Stop laughing at me saying in the hole.
I'm like giggling away.
Come on. It softens up your peg. You don't want anything to soften up your peg, mate. I'm telling you.
Yeah, seriously. That'll be one of the reasons why the peg's a little bit more difficult to get in as well.
Okay. So
John, I'm really sorry.
My soft peg.
I spilt beer on the floor about 3 minutes ago. Can I just get some tissue to clear it up 1 sec? You can edit this out.
I won't.
I don't know.
So the only thing I was going to say, the thing that I've seen when people paint how you paint, is they just put a bit of blue tack around wherever there's going to be a contact with the glue and the other part of the model. Just putting a very small bit of blue tack on it and then just peeling it off.
That's a good idea.
So might be worth trying that.
That's a good idea. Sounds like it's going to take a long time, but I'll do it. I'll give it a go. Okay, cool. So a question for you guys, what defines a pile of shame to you? Like, how long do you have to own something, or how big does it have to get before you're actually ashamed of it? Like, for example, at Christmas, I bought quite a lot of stuff, but I've been consistently working my way through it. So I've never actually been ashamed of my pile of work because I've been plowing through it. But then you look at Glenn, who's got a vault of shame because he's owned this stuff for like going on 20 years.
So I still don't know what Glenn's specifically got. I would like to hear you, Glenn, go through everything you have that you need to sort out. Everything.
Yeah, no, my pile is huge. It depends, because I've got some stuff painted. I've got some stuff that's built. The vast majority is built. I have very little that's not built and not in a box. Hence why I've not done any of the real unboxing videos or anything like that, because almost everything's in some form of construction. But yeah, even just the armies. So Chaos, Death Guard, Sisters of Battle was mostly finished. Guard, Scions, Eldar, some Orcs, Space Wolves, Marines.
You've only got 2 hands, Glenn.
Yeah, I know.
He's got no socks on.
I think
got no socks.
That's Chaos Demons as well. That's probably about it for the 40k side of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The only one of those that is remotely close to being finished is the Sisters of Battle Army. But that was finished because it was originally a 1,500 point army to take to a tournament. But now they've redone the Sisters of Battle, so there's a whole load of nice new models out there. So now suddenly the army has become, is it finished? There's nice stuff I can add to that. Or they're all old metal models now, all the nice new plastic sisters, do I get rid of the old ones and start again? So yeah, for me, it's a never-ending cycle. But also, like John, I don't consider it a pile of shame. I consider it a collection that I will get around to doing something with. Not of shame, no. Yeah, I just have way too much stuff. I'm aware of it, but it doesn't stop me wanting more. Hey, 80 issues of stuff coming for no good reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't need a Marine army.
You've got quite a lot of terrain as well, Glenn, haven't you, that you got from the previous magazine, wasn't it?
Yeah, in saying that, it's not a lot. It would be enough for a dense kill team game, but for like a 6 foot by 4 foot table, it's nowhere near enough. But with the next bunch of stuff coming from the magazines, that should be a decent amount of scattered terrain to at least, sort of block some fields of fire and stuff like that. So yeah, it should be enough for a reasonable game.
Cool.
You're getting a sizable little collection of stuff though, Tom.
I am, yeah. Yeah, I mean, do you know what? Do you want me to read through it? I've written it all down because I wouldn't be able to remember otherwise. But this is my pile of shame, and it includes models that are built but either not primed or not painted at all or whatever. So, Primaris Impulsor, Stormhawk gunship, Baal Predator, Redemptor Dreadnought, Assault Centurions, Primaris Inceptors, Primaris Hellblasters, Primaris Reavers, Primaris Death Company, Outrider Squad, Primaris Chaplain on Bike, Servo Turret, Primaris Eradicators, Primaris Eliminators, Blade Guard Veterans, an extra 3. I've already got 3 built and painted, and an Invader ATV squad. And obviously I've got my Orcs as well, that starter pack that I showed earlier. But yeah, that's it. And I look at it and I just feel like crying, really, because, like I said, I've mentioned before, painting that tank that I painted, the Vindicator, the one and only large model or large vehicle that I've got, was horrible. And all of these, all of the Primaris Impulsor is massive. Dave, you've what was yours? The one you've got?
I've got the Repulsor Executioner.
You've got this. Mine's more of a troop carrier, I think. Yours is like proper weapons heavy, isn't it as well? Yeah.
Yeah. I think the original Repulsors are aimed towards troop carrying, but the Executioner is just like the.
Mine's an
Impulsor.
I
think the Repulsor as well. I've got Impulsors and Repulsors. I fucking can't remember anyway.
I'm just trying to confuse it.
So yeah, but I've got a Repulsor Executioner. I really didn't enjoy doing the Predator, as I said previously. So I'm not really looking forward to doing my vehicles because I've got the Executioner, an Impulsor, a Warsuit, and then my Outriders.
Oh, you've got a Warsuit? So I didn't realise you had one of those yet.
Yeah, oh, cool. So I'm not looking forward to doing them as much as I was at the end of doing my Rhino. I really enjoyed doing my Rhino, then really hated doing the Predator. So hopefully the Executioner's interesting enough that it's not going to be too difficult, but I don't know. It's all been put in a box while I'm moving. I'll just forget about it for a few weeks and just pretend that it doesn't exist.
It's just when you move into a new house and start unboxing stuff, everyone's just going to hear crying from upstairs as you see all the stuff.
The missus is just bringing out all these like nice cutlery and dishes and all the stuff she's bought. There's me just sobbing upstairs, unpacking my fucking Outriders.
I don't want to do it.
So, yeah.
Well, I think out of everything I've got, I think the only ones I'm really looking forward to out of all of it, because I'm getting a little bit bored with like painting regular Marines, like companies and troops and stuff like that. So the Assault Centurions is what I'm really looking forward to out of what I've got, just because they're different. I haven't seen anyone with them before. I don't think any of you guys have got any. I don't see many on Instagram either. I've also ordered actually Primaris, Centurions in the Devastator version as well. So they was like 40 quid that I haven't got. But but yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to doing them. But everything else, especially, and I think the ones I'm least looking forward to doing are the Primaris Reavers. I've had them for ages now, and I don't know why I bought them. I don't like the look of them. I don't like anything about them. They just really turn me off when it comes to painting. And so Dave, do you want to buy them off me?
Yeah, I do actually want some more Reavers, to be fair.
Yeah. All right, cool. We'll sort something out after this.
Cool. What are you going to say, John?
Say again.
I thought you were about to say something.
No, I was just laughing.
Oh.
My pile of shame's not very big though. Like I said, I've been working my way through it. So I've got 2 Mephitic Blight Haulers left, a Foul Blight Spawn, and a Biologist Putrefier. That is literally all I've got left to paint.
What was the last one?
A Biologist Putrefier.
You said it right twice.
Yeah, man.
That really isn't much of a pile, is it? You've been doing very good work.
Yeah, I mean, I got a budget at Christmas. I spent it. I got told off for buying a Plague Burst Crawler and 6 Hero Marines, but I did it anyway. And they're all painted now. Yeah, so I'll probably do the 2 Blight Haulers together because they're not going to be too special. I might try some different things on both of them as I'm going, so they're not exactly the same as the first one. Yeah, then I've got these 2 characters to do, and then with the delay of the magazine, I might try and pick up some more bits and pieces, some more nurgly bits and pieces that I don't have.
Would you say, like, how many points would you say you've got painted up now? You've got a pretty good spread of different models now, right?
Yeah, I've got quite a lot of Marines. I don't know. I've definitely got somewhere between 13 and 1500.
Yeah.
I haven't bothered to put everything into the app to work it all out, but yeah, I'm probably around 1500 once it's all done. Because of the way that the lists work, like the Marines, I won't be able to use. Some of them aren't going to be very useful to me. unless I just run them as like the bog standard Marines rather than with their weaponry. But yeah, but there's definitely things I don't have. Obviously, I don't have Mortarion. I don't have the Death Shroud bodyguard. There's a few more characters I don't have. I don't have. I want to get another bloat drone, definitely. I want to get a Defiler because they look cool, and then all the other bits and pieces that maybe a Demon Prince as well. So there's loads of stuff. There's loads of gaps. There's loads of gaps really. I've got some basic stuff. But yeah, hopefully we get a date for when this magazine starts rocking up, and I get some more nurgly bits. But I've also got, technically, my pile of shame is 12 books in the Horus Heresy that I bought and haven't read because I've been rereading the first ones. So yeah, there's that, and obviously 2 codexes. So yeah, actually, maybe I won't buy any more models until I read some of my codex. Reward myself with a model per chapter or something like that, as I nail down a rule. What about you, Shane? Did we run through your?
Oh no, what have I got in mind? I've got 2 Razorbacks / Rhinos. I haven't decided. I think I'm going to do a Rhino and a Razorback rather than.
What's the difference, Shane?
So it's all just one of them. Like if you put a Razorback is like a Rhino chassis, but it's got like a turret on top of it.
Okay.
And yeah, basically they use the same chassis, so I think the kits are exactly the same.
Okay.
But I ordered.
Just don't glue the top doors on. You can use them as both.
Yeah, that's it. So.
Yeah, so I would use the pin both of them as both.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
You know.
But yeah, I've got 2 boxes, so I've got to do them because I haven't touched them yet. I've got 2 boxes of Thunderwolf Cavalry, so that's 3 in a box because I wanted a unit of 5, so I had to get 2 sets. So I'm gonna have a spare again, a Wolf and Rider, but they're all good bits for the conversions that I've got to do. So I've got 2 Cavalry, the 2 Razorbacks. I've got the Space Wolf Combat Patrol. So in that you get the 10 Intercessors, 5 Hounds of Morkai, which is just the Space Wolf version of Reavers, and a Lieutenant and an Invicta Warsuit. So again, that stuff's got to get done as well. And then I've got pretty much all of the Marines from the Indomitus box set. The only ones that I'll have done for the 1,000 points is I'm converting 5 of the Assault Intercessors to Space Wolves, and the 3 Eradicators to Space Wolves as well. Eventually, I'll get the rest of the Indomitus set converted because I want to convert Blade Guard veterans as well, make them a bit more wolfy. I've got all the spare bits for it. I've just got to get around to doing it. Everything that's in Indomitus is built. It just needs converting now. Whereas all of the other stuff, so the Thunderwolves, the Razorbacks, and the Combat Patrol, none of that is built. That is all still in box. So that feels a little bit shameful. And that now I've also got Bjorn, who I've got to strip and paint. So that's going to probably sit on the project shelf for a while. The Vindikar Assassin, that's the one from the old 90s mold. So I've got to get that one done. And then I've got just like a Wolf Guard. So it's literally I was on eBay. I got a load of Grey Hunter sprues just as bits, but there was enough bits in there to put together a little mini. So I'm just going to build him up as a Wolf Guard, but in power armor. And I'm probably going to do a different paint job on him. So whereas I use a lot of contrast paints at the moment, I've also got the standard paints, and I just want to have him as a model that I'm just going to spend my time on as a character. Paint with the standard paints and try and do some highlighting and edge highlights, dry brushing and stuff like that, and use him as a model to kind of not only practice on but also take a bit of time on, because he's not going to form, he's not really going to form any part of the main army, but if he turns out good, then I'll use him. So he's going to kind of be like my palette cleanser. So that once I'm a bit sick of trying to do squads and stuff like that, I'm just going to work on him. That's my 40k pile of shame. I've also got a load of the original Necromunda gangs from when Necromunda first came out, all the old lead models, and then I've
Interesting.
got a shit ton of fantasy stuff that's all undercoated black, but just never painted. So the old Nagash model, like a White Lord on Zombie Dragon, and a load of Chaos Dwarves and stuff like that as well. So there's just, that's all up in the loft. I can't even look at that stuff right now. But yeah, I'm not counting that as my pile of shame right now because it's stuff I had from when I was a kid. But the 40k stuff's building up. So at the moment, I'm trying not to buy any more until I've at least got my 1,000 points of wolves done.
He says after just subscribing to.
Well, that's what I am quite pleased it's not turning up until the summer, because otherwise that stuff would just sit undone. Maybe the terrain when that comes through, but yeah, we'll see. I said I'm trying to be disciplined and get through the models I need to get through to get to my point levels.
Yeah.
Because I've got, as I said, I've got 3 lists for the wolves at the moment, which is the 1,000 point list that we're gonna play when we all get together. Then I've got 1,500, and then I've got 2,000, and I've kind of got in my head the models I need to paint to get there. So that's the order that I'm trying to do them in, rather than just going for what model I think looks cool and light to tackle. I'm trying to keep myself disciplined.
When would you say you'll know that you're done with Wolfguard? Like when your army is done? Space Wolves. What do you like? Yeah. Space Wolves.
So I think I don't know. I think Glenn said it as well. I think it's cyclical. It's always going to be ongoing. There's always going to be a model that you see and you go, yeah, that's quite cool. I think once I've got to, I would like to have a nice rounded 3,000 points, like 3,000 points worth of models that I can do in an army, maybe with another sort of 500 points of subs that would rotate in and out, because you're never going to know like what your best army is until you've played it all.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I just remember buying all this stuff and struggling to get it to 2,000 points, and that wasn't the 2,000 point army I'd have. That was the 2,000 point army, the only one I could afford. Whereas, you know, I'm a bit, I suppose there's a bit more freedom now to maybe build the army I want, but still also have some of the cool models on the side. So like at the moment, Bjorn isn't in any of my lists, but maybe once I've got him painted up, like, you know, I'll have a play around with the 1,500 or the 2,000 point list and go, do you know what, I'm going to take out, you know, 3 of the Thunderwolf cavalry and I'm going to put Bjorn in instead, or I'm not going to have the Blade Guard veterans, and instead I'm going to have another, you know, pack of Blood Claws or something like that. So I think you know, I'd like to have 3,000 points painted, and then I would be happy to go on to something else, and then maybe just keep it ticking over with cool models. But that's just for the Space Wolves. For the Necrons, for example, I could leave them at the 1,000 points they are now. I think with the magazine subscription, fine, I'll take them and add to it, and you know, get up to the 1,500 points, and I'll paint that up. But like I think I've got 500 points of Death Guard and 500 points of Ultramarines that I got from like the No Fear and First Strike box sets, and they're painted up like 500 points each. But I just really don't want to expand on them. So like I don't want to invest any more in like buying any more Death Guard or painting up any more Ultramarines, mainly because the Ultramarines, you know, as a chapter, they don't interest me. Maybe that's the one where you do a successor, but yeah, that's kind of like, for those ones, 500 points is enough. I'm done there. Whereas for like the Space Wolves, I want more of them, so I keep going. But that's just me.
Yeah.
While we're on the subject, Shane, what would you prefer? Since I've made John and I've made Dave a model each, I have tons of bits left. Would you prefer a Space Wolf Lieutenant or a Space Wolf Captain? Not that they really look a lot different. You can have either a plasma pistol or a bolt pistol, and a thunder hammer or a chainsword, or a storm shield as well. All wolfy bits that I've got.
So I quite like the thunder hammer and storm shield combo. I think they look quite good on the wolves. So cool. I quite like that. That would be that would be quite nice. Probably Lieutenant if it was that, because then I think I'd be more likely to get him in the thick of it. Whereas a captain maybe the chainsword and the plasma pistol. But I do like the the hammer and shield combo. I think it does.
I shall make it tomorrow, sir. I've got so many bits that I need to get rid of. So I'll let you know how it comes out, and I'll show you.
I look forward to it. Thank you very much.
No, so I did fuck all then.
What? Okay. Look,
I've given you shit, and I've got nothing.
How's my book going? That you've
still.
How's that book that I lent you? What was it, like 8 years ago? Was it?
That's something you're going to get back anyway.
Yes. Yeah, no, you're right. Glenn did really sort me out with what was it? Death Company, wasn't it?
Yeah, Death Company.
Death Company. Like, he gave me a full squad of Death Company, 5 miniatures. Yeah, mate. Honestly, whatever you want, but I keep thinking,
it's fine. I think we've established I don't need any more shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. But also, you have obviously you're doing Imperial Guard, so I just in my mind I haven't got any of that, so I just kept thinking, oh no, Glenn won't want anything. But I keep forgetting you've got like 10 armies. So
yeah. It's not like I couldn't find somewhere for it to go in.
I'll make something up, and I'll just go. There you go. It won't be anything specific. It'll just have random arms and legs and a weird head on. But
that's fine. Chaos Spawn, fine. That works.
There you go.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that's still unpainted in my pile of shame.
Yeah, that looks awful. Your one, that was I got all these bits just randomly given to me, and that was the only way it went together. And it just looks like he's got so many things wrong with him.
He's got like really gangly legs and then a massive power fist. I don't think he'd be able to stand up with this weight.
All right, the power of the warp will keep him standing up.
Yeah, there you go. All the maggots and worms working together inside to keep him upright. But yeah, I'll get him painted. What about you, Tom? How will you know when your Sanguine Reapers are completed?
I think it's going to sound a little bit boring, but just to pretty much shadow what the other two just said. I think it'll never be completed, because obviously the more models that come out, I'll always add them to my main army, and this will always be my main army.
Yeah.
Just whatever comes out, I'll always add it to it. And obviously there's so many models, even from like past years, that are sort of like one-off models or whatever, old school models that I'd still like to get just for the sake of saying I've got them, sort of thing. So yeah, I don't think it'll ever be done truly, but I do have another couple. I'm not sure what to go with my next army, to be honest. Like I say, I've got the Orcs already, starter kit, already painted up. This guy, the Death Dread.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of leaning more towards going with a Chaos Marine warband of my own creation, just because I like doing that for some reason. And I wanted to make them in my own mind like a Blood Angels successor chapter that's fallen to Chaos and Khorne. And I know you'd only be able to use them as Chaos Marines, but that's what they would be. So yeah, maybe I'll go with that.
The backstory, that's all just narrative for us to worry about, though, isn't it? Like you can do what you want.
Yeah, exactly. But that's it, mate. Everything I do, I like it to have my own backstory in my own little mind. It's real. Because so I'm not sure. I mean, it would make logical sense to go with Orcs just because I've got the starter kit already, and I do like them as well. I was looking at some of the models, and as cool as they look, they are quite similar as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, can I be bothered to paint all that green? But we'll see how it goes.
It's hard to tie Orcs into a successive chapter of the Blood Angels, though, isn't it?
Oh, they've got similar traits. Well, a little bit.
You do have to paint a lot of Orcs as well. That's the trouble when you got paint on. You could always do a war band of Orcs that have basically just nicked all the armor from a group of Blood Angels. They've just jumped on a load of scouts and just nicked their power armor.
Actually, I did make an Orc in power armor or in Terminator armor a while ago, just as a laugh, before I knew about any of that stuff. It looks ridiculous. It's bloody awful. But yeah, then someone, I can't remember, I think it was a guy called Edgar on our Facebook page, sent me a link to this. People actually have done that, made them look like Space Marines. It does look pretty cool. But no, I'm nowhere near talented enough at kit bashing to do that, I don't think. What about you, Dave? What have you got next in the pipeline? I think you mentioned something last time, didn't you? Some dark, devious
eventually, but this is quite a long way in the future. Although with their new combat patrol box coming out, it is quite tempting. I'd love to do Drakari as my Xenos. After reading the Fist of Demetrius, where they're in that book. But I have a long way to go before I even consider doing any Xenos armies, because obviously I've got the Namakash Crusade, so I want to have an actual crusade in my own, again, like Tom, in my own sad little head. So I'm going to get my firstborn completed first. I want to get Helbrecht Grimaldus. I've got a drop pod that needs doing, and then obviously I got all the Primaris stuff as well. So I'd like to have about 2,000-ish points of each. So 2,000 firstborn, 2,000 Primaris, both of Black Templars. And then I think I'll go for Sisters of Battle after that. Yeah, just because I think they'll fit with the Black Templars and the Crusade.
Good call, actually.
And I think that they could fit in quite well with that sort of the Namakash Crusade idea. And then Imperial Guard after that, I'd like to do Steel Legion, I think. But the models are getting rarer and rarer by the looks of it. So I don't know whether they're going to be discontinued, because all I can find at the moment is the actual sort of like the standard set Guardsman Steel Legion set. So
where did you get the idea for that, Dave? For the Steel Legion?
Armageddon.
Oh, was they the ones in that? Yeah.
I can't remember. So this Steel Legion from Armageddon.
They're in Help's Reach, aren't they?
Yeah. So that's my rationale with that, is that there would be a sort of link with the Black Templars. I'm sure there are plenty of other Imperial Guard regiments that have fought alongside. But I like the idea of the Steel Legion as well. It was obviously like quite mechanized. So that's the aim, is to have 2,000 points firstborn, 2,000 points at least of Primaris, and then move on maybe to something else, like Sisters of Battle. And obviously I think I sent John a few of the Sister of Battle models. I think they look so good, and they do really fit in with that sort of zealot of the Black Templars. I think the Sisters of Battle and Black Templars would get along just fine. So
they've got some really interesting units as well, like the old what's it called, penitent engines, where they've got they're amazing. Like they do work as well, apparently, on the old on the battlefield. They're quite handy in combat.
And they is it Repentant Sisters? Or yeah. So I think that'd be quite a cool army to add on. But yeah, in the far future, I think my Xenos army will be Dakari, and I hope that in the meantime they actually release some new models. But then I'm just going to use the ones obviously with the premium set for Imperium. We're going to get what Chaos Warband, Orcs, Tyranids, and Tau.
Yeah.
So I think that they will be just a bit of a nice break from everything else. I don't think I'll expand on them at all. I think they'll just be something to sit on the shelf and go, look how badly I painted all this shit. So.
Because John, you was talking about possibly going for Tau next, wasn't you? Like one extreme to the other.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of in a weird mind, because obviously you've got me Death Guard army. I wanted to do something different. It's a sort of flip up, because I feel like when you pick Tau or Tyranids, really you're just looking for a decent color scheme, and you can make them look quite good. I know, like, obviously I don't know enough, but you hear obviously people poo-pooing on the Tau for not fitting in or being boring or whatever, but I think their models look quite cool. I like the idea of this happy shiny collective just trying to all get along and unite everyone, and they're just clearly in the wrong place. I think that's quite funny.
Well, that's what you think of them.
Yeah, that's what I think. But this is the thing. That on the surface, that's all I know about the Tau. So some more research would need to be done. But I also like the fact that the Tyranids just turn up and want to eat everything. I like that as well.
Just like an instinct, and it's like pushed by nature to do what they do, and that's it.
Yeah, there's no agenda there. They just want to eat. And I think maybe they are quite batch painty. But if you find a good color scheme, because I've seen some people have done some really awesome looking things, and keep it sort of simple, you can get through it quite quickly. But but also, like I say, Orcs was probably my next choice. If it wasn't for getting this magazine, that probably would have been where I ended up. Yeah, but then I'm going to do. I was thinking about doing salamanders originally because I like the way they look, but I don't feel like I want to have 2 completely green armies sat on my shelf. It's a bit of overkill. So yeah, but like I said, I probably am going to just go with the Ultramarines, mainly because that's the models that we're getting. I want to paint the characters, and also it's sort of the whole reason that I end up where we are now. When I was looking for something to read, I just stumbled across some pictures of some Ultramarines and some artwork and that, and I thought, oh, that looks pretty cool. And that's when I messaged you about books. So that's what drew me in. So I might as well go for an Ultramarine army. Add to the
it's not boring at all. It's not boring at all to go for an Ultramarine army.
Well, but I don't think so. I get it. I understand. I see the memes and that. I think they look cool, so I might just go with them.
They do look cool. You're right. And also, you've got to be honest, you have got, like you say, you're getting the models anyway, and you've got every box you get the transfers with them.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all about keeping the costs down, even though I'm spending a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, but in your mind, it's worth it because you're getting transfers. So
exactly. Perfect.
Well, some of them just come with a molded shoulder plates. You don't even need the transfer.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, see?
Tell Mrs. that.
That's winning, isn't it? I say, see, I've done this to save you money, actually, Mrs.
I was only thinking of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the next faction done, is it? Or Glenn, you went through all the ones that you've got. Have you got anything else in mind though? No, you haven't, have you? Surely not.
Yeah, sort of. One of the lists that was working up was a small Grey Knight army as well. So
I like the sound of.
The sound of that. Yeah, I've always wanted them.
But again, it's because a lot of my stuff is down a specific theme, so it was going to be really simple. Just going to do 1,000 points, just so I could use it with the guard or use it with some Marines or whatever. It's just going to be a Grandmaster in a Dread Knight and 3 squads of interceptors. So going to be really mobile. Just get stuck in combat focused. And that was just the plan for that. At one point, I did have I think around about a 10,000 point list drawn up of an Imperial army. So it was a Marine army with a guard detachment with some Grey Knights and an Inquisitor and all that kind of stuff. And it's still on my phone on Battlescript, but I don't think I'll ever get around to doing it. But like I said earlier, there's certain armies I have now that I don't have an end point. Like my Chaos army is combined probably about 10k, but I know there's other things that I want to add because there's probably about 2,000 points of Berserkers and Card and all that kind of stuff, and then there's 1,000 Suns, and I could expand on each of the individual things or keep it as one big army. Same with the Marines. I've got probably about a company's worth of stuff, minus a few vehicles. I don't need to add anything more, but I don't have all of the various units. So like I don't have the Centurions like you were talking about, Tom. I don't have a few other bits and pieces. The new magazine will fill in a few of the gaps. Space Wolves, I don't need to go back to them. There's probably maybe around about 3,000 points of them, partially painted, all built. But other armies that I have, I'll probably never go back to. So there's like the Elder army is probably just going to sit there, and there's other things that aren't usable as an army. They're just sort of like little projects that have been got. They may get back to at some point, but I don't know.
So what? Obviously, Grey Knights. What's their main sort of main attack strategy? Obviously, they're all psychers. So is that obviously the route you go down with them? Or?
Yes, but the fact that they're all psychers doesn't really make a huge deal of difference anymore, because you can't really spam loads of different psychic powers anymore. Their smite isn't as good because it's not from a specific character. It's just a lesser version of smite. I just liked it more because they're a very at least the way I was going to run, a very combat and mobile focused army. So that was literally just the way I thought. Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of them. I've ran the box of Grey Knights upstairs, so that's the start of it. I think I only need 3 more boxes to do that 1,000 points. So it's not like it's a huge army. It's just like it'll still be 31 models, but it's not undoable.
Cool.
What's
In that
your,
case, hold on. I need to get this out. Do the Grey Knights have lieutenants? Can you have a normal lieutenant in a Grey Knight company or squad or whatever?
No, they would be different.
Well, you're not getting anything then.
That's fine.
I have actually got some Grey Knight bits. So if you do get anything Grey Knights, let me know and I'll definitely make you something. I've got Terminator legs and torsos and all these bits and pieces. So yeah, I can make you something, Glenn.
I wouldn't have any Terminators in the army anyways, but
just pick up your arse then.
you just can't win, can you?
I know.
What's your estimated time frame for getting all that painted, Glenn?
All of what?
Your pile of shame. Your
collection.
Yeah. Or is it destined
You'll be all right
to
if it's a Hindu.
Forever?
Just
birth.
2,259
years.
Somewhere around that. No, the year. Yeah. That's yeah. No, it's realistically, I'm never going to finish everything, especially not the rear type paint, because it's just not an enjoyable thing.
Every 3 weeks.
Hey, those orcs are
both in different colours.
Yeah. No, because all my stuff is built so I can use it on a table. I never give a toss about whether it was painted or not. But if we're going to start, showing off games and recording stuff, I might have to make the effort to make it look like I've at least attempted to paint some stuff.
On that as well, Glenn, because I remember speaking to you quite a while ago. You said you was getting some Blood Bowl stuff for the new Blood Bowl. Have you still got that, or have you still got the inclination to actually paint that stuff and get it going?
Yeah, I got a pitch and a team for Christmas. And it got started, but because the models are so detailed, that's what made me then go back to paint some 40k stuff. It was a bit simpler because I hadn't painted anything in a long time, so I needed to get my eye in again and a little bit of practice with the brush.
What team did you get?
The Dark Elves. So really fine, detailed stuff.
Are they still called the Nagaroth Nightmares?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
I used to love Blood Bowl.
Oh, it's a great game. But I'm going to get a couple more of the teams just so if anyone gets the inclination to play something different.
Definitely, I'm up for that. 100%.
Do you still only get 12 in a box to start with?
Yes.
Okay. Because you can build up to 16, can't you?
Yeah. But all the boxes now basically come with a simplified team sheet.
Oh, right.
So it'll get like my Dark Elves, it came with use your 6 linemen, 2 blitzers, 1 witch elf, and 2 runners, I think it was. So many rerolls and fan factor, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And all the new boxes are like that, just to give you, you can play straight out of the box. There's your basic rules of what your team does. So it's nice and simple.
Gotcha.
Cool. Could be another addition to our YouTube channel there. Glenn fronting it, Blood Bowl. I'd like to say that.
I mean, like at the end of the day, they're only like, I think it's about 25 quid a team, and that's all.
Oh, really?
That's technically all you need,
unless
you're going to get involved in a league and you're going to buy additional players. Because again, same problem as I had earlier, you don't always get every option in the box. There's going to be times when you'll have a team. You'll want 4 blitzers, you get 2 in a box. Now, am I going to buy a full box to get another 2 models, or am I going to go online to try and find me? And it's just, I'd like to be able to get all of the options in a box.
Back in the day, you used to be able to write into the mail order goblins
Oh,
that
you know what?
record and like just ask for individual models.
Yeah, I think it was the 94 catalog.
Yeah.
Which was just this phone book sized, and you used to, you phoned up and went, I want part number, and give like the equivalent of a barcode, and it would be for like a metal arm, or you could order anything you wanted.
Yeah.
Those were fantastic days. But yeah, gone at them.
That's how like I built up many of the Blood Bowl teams I had. Was you'd get the box and then just order the individual to get up to that 16, because you're right, like you'd always want, depending on what team, it's a very Blood Bowl tangent, depending on what team you're playing, you'd always want to max out the blitzers, because you just, you start with a skill and away you go, unless you're a dwarf team, in which case you've all got block but you can't run anywhere. Anyway.
I mean, like the last couple of Blood Bowl teams I've built them from generally Age of Sigmar models or things like that. A lot of stuff that I've had kicking around. Like converted a Chaos team out of a box of Marauders, some random Chaos Warriors that I had. I think a random Age of Sigmar Troll, a Ogre from Lord of the Rings, and something else. I think a Minotaur from another box that I had. So yeah, nice. It's really, really easy to just sort of snip the weapons off. They kind of look very similar anyway.
It's all fantasy, as I said, fantasy and Age of Sigmar anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
I honestly feel like sometimes I'm like a little child sitting in listening to two war veterans with you two, because you know so much more than us. It's like back in 1990 now, I think it was. No, it's good.
One thing I think I'd like us to do is all buy a noise marine each, because they're cool. And then I mentioned it to Shane when we was doing Omnis a while ago, and then we'll just paint up and form our own little band and see who can do. Sort of have a competition who can do the best looking noise marine, because they're cool looking models.
It's actually quite a good idea.
We just finished Fulgrim, and obviously that's where the noise marines pop up, and I think I think the last two sculpts were pretty good. Like there's like the dude with the leopard skin, like print and like hoof, like boots and stuff like that.
It's very
the special edition one.
Yeah,
he's phenomenal.
Glam rock.
That's it.
Noise marine.
I just draw glam. So. Do you get moving on? Do you get these in a squad or anything? These noise marines, or do you have to buy them individually? Because I've seen some older models on eBay, like metal models.
I think the guy with the big boots, the big hair, and the guitar-looking thing, I think he's a single model, so we could potentially get one of those each and just see collectively what we come up with, and then compare them. I think that'd be an interesting thing to do in the future, when we maybe even if when we're all allowed to see each other in person, do it then and have a painting session. Just do something different and see what we all come up with.
Yeah. And come up with our own little names for each individual. Crazy rock names or whatever you want to.
And then we'll start a band and forget Warhammer altogether. We'll just transition that way.
Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining us once again on Iron and Ceramite for our podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitter. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We're also on all good podcast services. So thank you very much. See you again next time.
Say the word.
Exterminatus? What word?
That's the word.
Jimmy Savage?
Exterminatus.
That was proper camp, wasn't it, man? Make sure you do what you want.
Brilliant.
As always, we would like to thank you for listening to our Iron and Ceramite podcast. If you liked us, then you can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and any other good podcast services. Just remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
I forget that not everyone can see everyone. Like on my screen, I've got everyone up.
Oh, is everyone here? Is Glenn?
Yeah.
Glenn, you're here.
Yeah.
Glenn's the one missing from me, so I'll have to watch it on the single screen then.
Yeah, that's how I've got it.
Bloody hell, Glenn, what's happened to your hair? I've just seen you just popped up when you coughed. You look like Beetlejuice.
Yeah. It's lockdown, man. Can't get a haircut.
Yeah, fuck you.
What are you drinking, Dave?
Spiced rum.
Nice.
I've only got it's only very weak. I've got school tomorrow.
What
about
John,
you, beer?
Yeah, just a Ranger Boom, is it?
A Ranger Boom.
Yeah, just started, mate. So, yeah.
Corner shop special.
Yeah, mate, honestly, I look like a loony. I went down there, I had my mask on and that, and I ordered a crate, and he just gave me this massive, like, not a crate or whatever they're called. Is it a crate? 24 in the
slab.
thing.
Yeah,
a slab of them. So I'm just walking back up the street like this, and like all my neighbours are looking at me and off the balcony and that. I look crazy, but no, fuck them. That's it, really.
Ranger Boom's all right. Holland's finest.
Is it Dutch? I haven't even bothered to look.
It is Dutch. Over in the Netherlands, they call it student beer because all the students drink it because it's like the the most prolific. It's like their Fosters.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it. The only thing I looked at was the percentage, which is 5%, and most of them have dropped under that now. So I thought, go with them. Don't care what it tastes like. If it gets me pissed, then.
Well, back in the day, you used to get 8 of them for a £5 in Iceland. That's all I used to remember. I used to be able to go get 8 for a £5.
Honey, I'm just popping down Iceland. Yeah. Frozen chicken wings. Yeah.
Cool. Right. Is everybody sitting comfortably?
Not really, but let's continue.
That's 2 weeks. 2 weeks in a row. He's thrown beer everywhere. Thanks for highlighting my soft pegs, though, Glenn.
It's all right. It was just a bit of, friendly advice.
We sure he's cleaning something up because it doesn't sound right.
It sounds worse.
he got himself all worked up talking about things going in holes and.
Sorry about that.
The only thing I was going to say.
Getting you excited.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it wasn't beer. Yeah.
Sorry, Dave.
He's thinking. Is he actually
He's
here?
gone.
Oh no, he's there. I don't know if he's on. His sound's gone.
You're muted. There you go.
No, it says it's unmuted, but there's no sound coming through.
I can't see him. So
we'll do that bit again when
maybe come out and come back in again, Glenn.
Yeah. All right.
Oh no, you're back.
You're back.
Yeah. Cool.
Did you hear anything I said?
I didn't hear what you said. The last thing I heard was Tom.
All right, we'll start that bit again then. Okay.
Oh, I heard your bit about what you considered a pile of shame.
Yeah, and then did you hear what Tom said?
Yes.
So you did.
That's right.
So you did hear what I said.
No, I wasn't sure if you said something after that. Whenever I was fiddling around trying to get my mic to work again.
Unless anyone's got anything they want to talk about, we can edit in nicely.
If we just do maybe with the plug at the beginning, it might be good just to do a reminder at the end.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to do it? All right. I'll do it now. I'll cut all that.
Oh come on! Let's get Dave to it.
No. Why don't you do it?
Okay. What do you want me to say?
All you got to do is.
I will practice. I will practice and do it. But no, I'm not. I know that being put on the spot, I'll just see fucking Tom smirking, and I'll be like,
"Don't look then. Look up like that."
We'll have the chin back. You just have to say, don't forget to check us out at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. And
I'm not doing it again.
Share, subscribe. Go on then, Tom.